Hello, everybody, and welcome to Spark of Genius Fab TCG video. And this is going to be the intro video. This is where some of us need to know who exactly is talking to them, who's making the banter, who's making the video. So this is just going to go over about me and Rob, a little bit about how we got into Flesh and Blood, our background, kind of like maybe favorite card, favorite set, just kind of shooting the shit, our history with the game and kind of what's the direction we see ourselves going into the game and what we want to see out of the game. So I'll kind of start out a bit. I got into Flesh and Blood when Arcane Rising started in April 2020. I think it was released in March. Don't quote me on that one. But
I think you're right.
I think it was March. But unfortunately, I remember when I was seeing it, I saw a YouTube video. It might have been a Rudy video. As much as I don't want to call out another streamer immediately or another content creator, I think it was a YouTube video. He was really excited about the game. Didn't know if he was shilling or not. Didn't really care. But I looked at some gameplay videos and something about the game just felt fresh. Like the back and forth, the no dead hands. Where I've played some Magic. I've played some Yu-Gi-Oh. Fairly different games, but there's such like the games either go way too long, way too short. Missing land drops feels like ass. Like I didn't see any of those issues in Flesh and Blood, and I really, really enjoyed watching the game and then kind of picking it up as I go there. So that's kind of when I started the game back
April,
then.
Right? So you saw these videos back in April.
I saw the videos. I think I saw the videos back in April, back in March maybe. It might have been back in March. I didn't want to get burned. I didn't want to like go into a random card game that from New Zealand that nobody's ever heard of, that I can't find at any Canadian shop or even American shop at that point, until I had to really dig deep to find the one Canadian store that eventually carried it, but they were importing it from the States. So it was really difficult, and it wasn't even close to being mainstream, whatever that means for a TCG nowadays. That's not Magic, Pokemon, or Yu-Gi-Oh, right? So that was kind of when I got into it. Rob, what about you?
Yeah, very similar story for me, actually. I remember, so I come from more of a Yu-Gi-Oh / Pokemon background, so I've never played Magic the Gathering. I know, big shocker. So
big surprise.
And back in, I want to say, February maybe of maybe 2019, I was really big into Pokemon collecting. So yeah. I had, first edition Shadowless stuff graded with PSA. I loved having the slabs. I loved having that chase to collect cards, and so
the rush, the adrenaline.
Exactly.
I'm
a collector
PSA,
at heart.
Getting the PSA 10 Shadowless. Oh yeah, okay.
Nothing like that, no. But I was actually in the market. I was looking for a new card game actually to start playing and collecting. So
yep.
I remember there was a point where I was just on Google looking for new card games that came out. Right.
Literally just Googled new card games.
Literally that.
Wow.
It was like new card games 2019.
How bored were you? Jesus, come on, man.
I was.
You gotta get some hobbies.
I was curious because there are some card games that you just never hear of, but obviously, if you weren't watching Rudy, you would never have heard about this card game.
Oh yeah.
It's not showcased anywhere, right? So I had to look up lists on Google, and I remember opening up a list that had over like 150 card games in there. There was like, wow, there were a lot of TCGs that came out in 2019.
Oh yeah, I think it's probably born from like the COVID, right? Like more or less, that's when it started.
Yeah.
I don't know if it was. I think it was near the end of 2019, but I think that's what got a lot of people back into or more into like collecting and playing like card games, right?
Yeah, I think that the resurgence right now we're seeing of a bunch of card games hitting up, Kickstarter, all that stuff.
Oh yeah.
That is most likely due to the situation where everyone was just getting bored during COVID. But back in 2019, that wasn't really the case. The card games that were out were basically, I don't want to say organic, but they were the ones that were out before COVID really became as widespread as it was during the peak. And February was actually a time when it was still pretty mild in Canada.
Yeah.
No one was working from home yet. It was only, I think, in mid-March that we had the order to work from home.
Oh, in 2020, right?
Yeah, exactly. March
Oh, I
2020.
remember. What a beautiful time when
Yeah.
nobody at all was prepared to work from home. People were working out of their kitchens. People were working in the yard with the
Yeah.
dog. They were like
Yeah,
just
the weirdest meetings, the
oh,
weirdest Zoom
all the
slash.
Zoom meetings. I'm like, you know, your
Yeah,
camera's on. Oh, yeah, don't mind me, just wearing nothing,
exactly.
eating Honey Nut Cheerios, just spilling milk everywhere. But not saying I did that.
Yeah.
But I'm just
But
saying,
at that time, oh yeah, sorry. Just to top off my story, I remember looking at that list of over 100 card games, and I saw like I was kind of looking through the art was really what drew me to this game.
yeah,
I'll be honest, because when you're just kind of looking at card games at face value,
mhm,
you're mostly looking at what the cards look like, and the cards were just so beautiful
they
to me.
were.
I
Oh
love
yeah,
the artwork. Every card had its own unique, like style. They have so many artists in this game as well.
yep,
It was just so fresh, and I remember, beyond looking at the artwork, I then looked into gameplay videos,
yep.
and I ended up buying my first. It was kind of a kit. It wasn't the Rudy kit. It was on eBay. There was a starter kit where they gave you like a box of alpha, and they gave you the 4 starter decks along with 2 playmats. And funny story. One of those playmats that I bought was actually the Underground Slingshot mat, which was like $30
Oh,
with the
oh
kit.
man, do you like lotteries and winning them? Oh my god.
So funny. And so I got this kit, and obviously I had to have someone to play with. So my,
Yep,
my wife and I started playing this game, and she's actually not into Yu-Gi-Oh, not into Pokemon. She doesn't like trading card games at all.
yep,
But for this game, we actually ended up playing like a ton. The first few weeks that we had the game, and she really loved it, and so did I.
yep.
So I think just because it's just so um, it's weird. It's like you don't really need to prepare much to play this game. If
Hmm.
you're playing Yu-Gi-Oh, for example, like the deck has like one combo you're going for, right? Like, you have
Yep.
to know every card. But for this game, you pick up your hand of 4 cards. You look at the cards and like, okay, I can. You're kind of living in the moment with this game.
Yep.
You're not really, unless you're talking to talk about pro play. That's different. But for us,
Yeah,
just
we
to pick it
suck.
up, it was just
Yeah.
yeah, yeah, like counting your pitches, making sure they go to the right order to the bottom of your deck. Yeah, that's a different story. But um, and then she just loved Reiner. She just loved playing Reiner,
Which
and to this day, she still plays Reiner,
I
just because
um
the playstyle is so simple for her. She loves just kind of intimidating and going in for big damage. Yeah.
yeah, which I was I'm not gonna lie, I was a little surprised I didn't hear Dorinthia because the one like
You would assume Dorinthia, yeah.
I look, I can assume it, but in reality, I saw a lot of Dorinthia as far as like first time play, males and
Yeah,
females, whatever. I just see a ton of Dorinthia all over the
yeah.
place. People love attack reactions. They love baiting people in.
Hmm.
And no, I definitely echo that with the art. For me, because I played Magic and I did collect some older school Magic, um, it reminded me of the old school artwork for Magic, and I hear a lot of like longer time Magic collectors like going in from like like what about like Alpha Beta Limited Revised Ice Age block, that kind of thing, like the older school artwork that was so detailed and a lot more unadulterated. Like it's a 16 plus
Yeah,
game, I think, Flesh and Blood, and they
it
don't,
is.
especially sets like Monarch, they don't, convulsions from the bellows of hell. Like you got some really kind of intense artwork out there, intense card names too.
Yeah,
And
yeah.
so I definitely like that, and the foiling. Holy shit! That the cold foiling.
The cold
When I
foiling
open
is
my first cold foil, I'm actually gonna show it off here, going into my favorite card. It's a good transition, I think, transition moments. And so we have this was my very first cold foil. Though there's this Arcanite Skullcap. I don't know if you get. I don't know if it's gonna pick it up. I don't know. Maybe not. And that was my very first cold foil, and I looked at this card. I screamed like a little girl, ran around the table a couple times, and then flicked it up and down the light. And I don't think I've done that for Ghost Rares and Yu-Gi-Oh! I haven't done that for like anything in Magic, any of like
yeah,
the Secret Rares in Pokemon. But I just flicked this cold foil up and down, and I was in love a little bit. And I'm not
yeah.
ashamed to admit it. I'm not. It is what it is, and it is my favorite card for that purpose.
Hmm.
Rob, do you have a?
Pulled yourself. You said pulled yourself, right?
I did put, yeah, I did. I bought an
Yeah.
alpha. I bought a Arc Alpha box. I bought two loan boxes, so I didn't buy a case because it was at the time where I didn't want to like jump super deep into it, because this was around
Yeah.
the April time, like April 2020, right? So this is one of my first two single boxes. I bought some loose packs and some sealed stuff that I kept sealed, and this was from one of those loose boxes, and I felt like I won the lottery. I didn't even realize
Yeah.
how nice the card would be like later on. It was actually like the Chase Legendary, in my opinion, of that set, right?
Yeah, and I think everyone would agree with you there. Yeah, it is by far the best one, even in Unlimited. Unlimited, it's like far beyond the price point of any of the legendaries.
Yeah, the fact that they released it and the majority of heroes now still use it as part of their tech list is clearly a good card. And so that's kind of it goes well with that. I did start on Bravo, the Showstopper. This is an alpha token, by the way, in case everyone was like commenting on why this isn't foil. It's my first hero. I still play a lot of Bravo. You'll see in some of the gameplay videos that we're going to be releasing shortly. I am playing Bravo Shocker in a couple of them, as Bravo is deceptively, he looks easy, but man oh man is he one of the hardest heroes that I've had to kind of practice and learn the intricacies of, but he is fun to crush people. My god, the crippling crush. It feels so satisfying. And, you know, I recently got this beautiful little mat to go with it. I don't know if people will be able to see it. I'm just covering everything. This Showtime mat that I've been looking for a very long time. Ended up winning it in a locals raffle, funnily enough. But now my set is complete. Yeah, great raffle. Oh, I got a little dust off, a little welcome to Wraith kit. Oh yeah, there's a Bravo and a Alpha Rampage. I'm like, there's a Showtime mat in there? Excuse me?
I bet a lot of stores across the country have, you know, these armory prizes that just have never been given up because they didn't have Discord tournaments like we did, you know, during the pandemic, right? So they're probably sitting on these kits just in a storage room somewhere.
Sitting on cold foil IRA kits, welcome kits, with all the booklets and the appreciation kits.
We've seen recently how a few welcome events resurfaced where people were getting cold foil IRAs.
Not even, they're just like, oh, this is a pretty card. That's a pretty expensive card is what that is. Like, you gotta put that in a case and play with it raw. And I'm like, oh my god.
Hopefully they know the value of the card when they receive it, not just like put it into a box on sleep or something.
Anyway,
But I just want to parallel your story about the Skullcap. I actually ended up buying Welcome to Wraith Alpha boxes before Arcane Rising.
Yeah.
And back in the day, you could find these on eBay for like $80 Canadian, like all day. You just
don't hurt me. Please stop hurting me, please.
I mean, I wish I bought more. I mean, everyone wishes.
Hindsight's 2020, man.
I know. And so I actually ended up pulling the Fyendal Spring Tunic.
Yeah.
I have it right here by me, right over here.
Oh god, there it is.
Of course, in a nice, card saver, just keep its condition, but. I pulled this myself, and I remember specifically back in the day, this card was never less than $300.
Yeah,
it came out the gate $300 on eBay, and I was like, "Wow, that's an expensive card." But it wasn't enough for me to justify selling the card to make up the value of the box.
Yeah.
I really wanted to keep this card for myself.
Just a great looking card. I mean, it's a matter of like whether you think you want to invest in the game, you don't know where it's going. Kind of, it was kind of the attitude towards the game where nobody had any idea what was going on. Nobody knew if it was touching down in the States, coming down to Canada. It was like, don't want to be left with like holding the bag. So nobody really knew what was going. They couldn't really predict that kind of thing. And now Alpha Box is hovering around $3,500-$4,000.
Oh yeah, easy. Yeah, I think that, you know, if anyone ever knew the value of these cards, they would have just bought everything out.
Oh yeah,
I mean, I know I would have.
Some people did. Like some people did kind of load up later on, and you know, but that's
they did once the boxes upticked from like 100 to 300, and then 300 to 500.
Yep.
At that point, people were seeing a trend, and like a lot of people capitalized on that. I'm not a big hoarder of sealed. I don't like just sitting on sealed to resell later. I in my collection, I do have one of each box that was ever released for Flesh and Blood. So I have the one Alpha, one Arcane. They're in those acrylic cases.
Yeah, they're in the little acrylic boxes there on display. Yeah.
It's actually right up here. I can't really show it, but they're in acrylic cases, and I've got one first edition / Alpha, and then one unlimited of each set so far.
The collection will keep growing. You're gonna need more.
Yeah, I want like eventually to have this really big sealed collection of Flesh and Blood. Yep. Not cases. You know, particularly because you can't look at them. They're just kind of there to...
They're not as pretty.
Pick up dust, and they're meant to be resold, in my opinion, like the cases. I don't really see people... admiring cases as much. Sure, they're rare, but
magnify glass to
can't
check on
look
any of
at
the
it.
dust, little like scratches on the little case. Oh
Yeah,
no, there's a little
you can
sticker where it's supposed to be,
you can
freaking
look at
out.
the alpha label maybe, which
Yeah,
looks nice, but at the same time, it's
yeah,
not really my thing. So I opened every box I purchased except for the one that I wanted to keep sealed for
fair.
my collection.
Very similar to what I did. I totally get it. I didn't really. I like the cards more than I like the idea of keeping a whole bunch of sealed, and so kind of leads me into my last thing to just talk about a little bit about the direction kind of for us where we kind of want to see the game going. Of course, LSS put out a massive organized play. Can't I say campaign drive here, $1 million in organized pro play here for 2022. Extremely exciting. As far as like kind of me and Rob, I mean myself, I'm not the most competitive of people. I mean, I went to like a couple Road to Nats. I won one of them, and I was pretty happy. Got the tunic mat, the extended art. That was all great. But like, we're not flying down to all the callings. We're not, we'll participate what we can, and we're like decently competitive in that mind. But I don't think either of us are, buying all our flight tickets to the most random locations
Yeah.
to play cards. What do you think, Rob?
Yeah, I'm on the same boat completely.
Yeah.
I unfortunately just missed placing for Nats by like 5 EXP points. I was there in 40th for like a few weeks before the cutoff happened, and
You
then
blinked.
all of a sudden all of the skirmish EXP that I'd earned 3 months prior
Yeah.
just kind of
It all
dissolved. And
expired.
I
Yeah.
have to admit, I took it too easy in those last few weeks. I should have participated more, but I didn't make the cuts to Nats unfortunately. So. I'll still go to say hi to people, but I'll be there more as
Moral
just
support.
as
Oh, you'll be
as
in the
moral
Pro Quest.
support.
You'll be in the Pro Quest, so you're still gonna try to get that gold foil skull cap. I mean, that would be a very nice
Yeah.
collection for
Oh
collection
my.
stamp in there. Can you imagine
Yeah,
putting
no,
that
I
one
would
putting that
love
one on the
that.
shelf? Yeah, there you
The
go.
problem. Okay, there's a problem with with winning a gold foil though, because once I get one of them, I'm gonna
You
want
need.
all of them.
Oh yeah, Rob. I don't know for that's a good little point for the intro here. Rob is one of the greediest people I know. I mean, if he has one of a set, he's getting the rest of the set. He dips his
I
toe in the
wouldn't
water.
say greedy. I wouldn't say greedy. I'm more of an admirer.
More of a
admire.
collectionist.
I like having like I have the full alpha set. I have the full Welcome to Wraith,
Mhm.
like legendary set. I have recently I purchased an Eye of Ophidia,
Yep.
which completed my Arcane Rising first edition set,
Yep.
and I'm still on the hunt now for a Heart of Fyendal, which I don't have, but I really want to complete the sets. I am a completionist and a collector at heart, so
Yep. No, that's
if
fair.
I get one gold foil, it'll be the end of me.
Yep.
So I'll
No,
take it all.
that's fair. Other than that, like I'm really looking forward to see what the competitive scene looks like. Looking to see what the next supplemental set looks like. We'll be producing some content for that. A couple openings, a couple card reviews of the previews. And so far, like my favorite format is draft, and so I love new sets for that purpose. It's always another draft. I know the next one's gonna be supplemental, but the Tales of Aria drafts, I've done a fair amount of those, practicing for the upcoming Nats. I'll be going to get some of that. We're gonna be vlogging there. I'm gonna be posting some vlogs so everyone can get a little bit of a little insight on the frigid north, as they say. Many people don't know what Canada looks like nor where it is on a map, and so we thought we might shed a little bit of light. Show off some of the players that aren't called Dante. There's other people that live in the country. I'm
What?
just saying,
Really?
there's places other than Toronto, and I'm gonna try to showcase some of the people from outside of Toronto, and it's gonna be an amazing event. And I think with that, appreciate everyone who's been watching. If there's any other questions, we have a Twitter, Spark of Genius Fab. There's a link in the description there. So if you have any other questions for us that you'd like us to answer in maybe an upcoming video, maybe some content suggestions that you'd really like to see, let us know. We'll try our best to incorporate it. And I don't know. That's pretty much it. Appreciate you guys watching. Like, comment, and subscribe.